My husband, 34M, and I, 33F, had a little exchange yesterday morning. He works remotely full-time, while I work in person all 5 days of the week. I also do most of the cooking and cleaning. Since I'm not home during the day, I make my lunch and make sure he either has leftovers or make something fresh for him the night before. On Monday, there was a crisis at work, and I realized I was going to have to work longer hours this week and won't have a lot of time to cook. I stayed up until 2 a.m. on Monday night, cooking a variety of food items to cover my lunches for the week, and at least 2 to 3 days' worth of meals for all of us. He went to bed at 10 p.m. For my lunches, I made stuffed squash since I can just boil a little bit of rice to go with it every night while packing my lunch. The next morning as I was heading out for work, I started showing my husband what's in the fridge so he doesn't tell me later he didn't see it. He saw the stuffed squash and started taking one out of the container before I could tell him I made it for my lunches. Here's where I might be TA. As he was taking one out, I said a little too loudly, "No, that's for my lunches." He looked a bit like how our daughter looks when I scold her for something. The intention was to let him know I made it with a specific purpose, so he's not just eating all the portions I made for my lunches and leaving me scrambling again. I also told him that he's more than welcome to try one if he wants it. I just didn't want him to think he can have all of it. He wasn't saying anything more on it, and I was running late, so I left for work. When I got home, he seemed unnaturally quiet and distant with me. I asked him why he's acting weird, but he said he isn't, and nothing's wrong, so I dropped it. At the end of the night, he told me he didn't like how I spoke to him that morning about the food, and he felt like I was trying to control how much he's eating. My husband is the sort of person who will eat half a pizza that was meant to be shared between 3 people because he really felt like stuffing it in the moment without even asking if there's enough for everyone. Don't get me wrong, he generally is very considerate, but he has some cookie monster moments. Even so, I've only ever commented on it if he's being rude to guests by doing it, or if he's overeating something he needs to restrict for medical reasons. Considering how much food I made to make sure he has plenty to eat during the day, that comment seemed to come out of left field and was honestly quite hurtful. But I apologized for my tone from the morning and making him feel bad about it and explained the reasoning and the intention behind it. So AITA for telling him to not eat the food I made for my lunches? Is it reasonable for him to think I'm trying to control how much he's eating just based on that one comment?